Hello, Aries. This is your reading for this full moon in Cancer today, in Aotearoa 18th. I was thinking it was the 19th. Anyway, it kind of resonates in a continuum. Today, we've got a shortened Celtic cross for you, but to begin with, I'm reading just the first paragraph from random page from one of my favourite books, this Taschen book, the Book of Symbols. Beautifully written, beautiful lyrical book with amazing artwork and sculpture in it. So, going back through centuries. So, for Aries today, we randomly opened it and we get the valley. Some lovely, beautiful Japanese prints here. A valley is the opposite of a peak. It is the lowest point in a lofty landscape, opening up like a cupped hand. The valley creates a gulf between mountains and hills. It is often an area of plenitude, amassing rainfall and providing rich earth for vegetation, a longed-for destination after rugged treks. Because water chooses the lowest place to gather, a river or glacier may incise a valley, its contours the result of channel erosion, transport, and depositions of debris. Ugh. Valleys are the living fossil record of powerful geologic and fluvial forces of weathering and the gradual shifting of mantle rock. So there you go, Aries. Interesting. Valleys. Very fertile ground. So, Aries, let's just shuffle, see what comes out for you today in this shortened Celtic cross. We've got central point, basis, what has recently passed, your current position, and moving forward. So let's turn these up. Wow, we've got coming out here, basis of which is the moon. Coming out here first is the Tower. New information, clarity, a new insight or perspective, not without surprise sometimes, or not without quite a big shift. We are crossed here. The Tower is crossed by the Star card, which is there a conflict between your inner guidance and what you see is happening on the outside world? I think for a lot of people at the moment that is the case. This is just what I feel, Aries, for this at this stage. We will clarify. The basis of this is the moon. There are things that we do not see sometimes, of course, or things sometimes we don't want to see. Maybe with this, of course, the moon's really in the realms of the unconscious mind or the subconscious, deep motivations that maybe we are not aware of. But during this full moon, of course, this is an illuminating time. The star also does indicate healing, a level of healing going on. So, there might be a conflict here. There might be a conflict in terms of what you're dealing with in the external world and what you're dealing with internally and your internal guidance. The recent past, we have the Seven of Cups. Look, the Seven of Cups, in the Thoth deck, it's represented by a slight stagnation, simply because we have many, many options. So this is what's behind you, Aries. A lot of options, some illusionary, some totally valid and concrete, and it's assessing that. It's assessing where and what direction you want to go with those options. Current position, the Ten of Discs. This is about your personal values, your loyalties to your family or your tribe, as much as the ten's been, or certainly the 10 of discs, been surrounded by what you value, in terms of material acquisition, object, a good secure financial position. Excuse me. Sometimes sometimes we move away from values that we were brought up with, and this can be quite conflictual. It can happen over time. It can happen sometimes. Well, no, usually it happens over time, and we become more conscious of that. So interesting. Like the 10 of discs is really we're seeing what we value, our material world. It surrounds us, and the people that are within that as well at this time currently. Maybe there's a question: is this really what I value? I do feel that there's some level of conflict in here. Moving forward, we have the Four of Swords. Thoth deck, it's called Truce. Four of Swords is a card of respite. It's a card of taking yourself to a very quiet place, rest and respite, in a mental sense, actually, the need to give that to yourself more often than not. The busyness of the world, etc., and other people do not allow this unless you've got a very nurturing other person in your life. Sometimes we need that nurture, don't we? And we don't have that, so we embody or enter that Four of Swords for rest and respite. And actually, in that zone, we are given, or we do receive thoughts or ideas that can be quite beneficial for healing. So let's just have a look at what this tower is. It's with the star, the tower and the star. Aries, I do see this as to clarify, we have the Three of Swords and the two cards of understanding something, really, and the Three of Wands. So we understand what sorrow is. There's some element of hurt I do get in this reading, and one could say that possibly someone out there, Aries, remember these are really general readings, excuse me, someone out there is questioning whether they want to continue with something. I do get a strong sense of that. Can we just look at the star, please, for Aries? In this reading, the star. Yeah. We get the Empress. Look, you are offering, when I was talking about nurturing qualities, the Empress is amazingly creative, the consummate mother figure. You may well have someone in your life who provides this mothering sense, or a great nurturing friend. Otherwise, it is something you're offering to yourself, which is wonderful. Aries, you are offering this to yourself, so that's a great thing. Can we have a look at the moon, please? The moon. Oh, there's just got all the windows open, and these this is like a wee room off to the side, and it's just these flies end up coming in here. It's just, I don't want flies buzzing around when I'm doing readings. Let's have a look at the moon, please, for Aries. Go away, fly. Apparently there's a fly explosion in New Zealand this summer because it's been quite hot. Okay, so we're looking at the moon for Aries. We get a very mental card coming out. It's the Eight of Swords. All the eights are very much to do with the mind and the mind chatter. You know, maybe at this full moon time, at this cycle, you know, it is allowing you to, and to be gentle with yourself within this. It's allowing you to see where you do limit yourself, because the Eight of Swords is about being bound yet not having limitations at all. You could walk away. This figure is not bound. So it is sort of a mental state where sometimes we feel that we are limited, we're restricted in some way. And maybe this moon cycle is allowing you to see where this is happening in your life, if it is at this current time, or where it has been felt very strongly in the past. With that, we have, I think you're very aware of that anyway, actually, beyond the moon cycle. It's more about time passing, that's all. We have the Two of Swords coming out with the Eight and the moon. So a decision has been made here. It's not necessarily like immediate. Nevertheless, it is a choice and it's a decision, and to a large degree it's not about what anyone else is saying, or it's not about anyone else. It's about what you feel. It's not what you see. It's about how you're feeling. You're making a decision. You're making a decision based on your own gut. Because often when you say you're making a decision based on how you're feeling, you know, people often say, well, feelings sort of come and go. Feelings aren't anything to base anything on. But I'm talking gut feeling here. That is something that your gut is connected to your brain. You know, we know this, science has proven the healthy gut, the healthy mind, you know. So we're making a decision based here on not necessarily what we see, but what we feel within in terms of our guidance. A level of nurturing, a level of rest here is really going to help you come to whatever decision it is that you're coming to. There are behind you many options. Current position of the 10. You know, it could be an offering. It could be an offering from someone. We look at the 10, and as I was saying, questioning values and loyalties. We have the Ace of Cups, which is a gift of love, and our love comes in many forms. I do feel it's possibly more like exerting a large level of self-love within yourself that may have been lacking of late. And with the Ace, we have the Fool, which is a fresh new beginning. This fresh new beginning can be in ways of moving forward, in ways of ditching some old baggage in order to move forward in the direction, in a way, in a climate that is what you need. in a climate that you need, with people around you that provide what is the essence of this ace, which is a beautiful card. Yeah, interesting, Aries. Let's look at the Four of Swords moving forward, please, for Aries in all of this. So it's, yeah, exactly. Talking before on this rest period being very beneficial. I just love that card. The Four of Swords, rest, respite, being very beneficial in terms of getting ideas, information, or visuals, in the state of rest where these things allow a shift in perspective. To clarify that, we have the Hanged Man, which is all about that. We're in Hanged Man zone, nothing much coming in, nothing going out. I mean, in this sort of physical world, because we will be receiving information. We need to go into this zone in order to receive that, in order to, it's for a purpose. The purpose is that we can see something from a slightly different perspective, which allows us to keep going on this wheel of life. We understand it. We understand it in the Hanged Man. So there is a purpose to that. We have Justice on the bottom of that deck. Now, let's have a look at Kim Cran's Animal Spirit cards. Wow. I think there's an awakening going on, Aries. There's a waking up. We get the bear, this beautiful bear, months of hibernation, and suddenly, boom, the sun, as we see in the Tower card, this beautiful Eye of Horus, the sun, this glorious light in the tower that just strips everything apart in order to kind of start again. The bear starts again every spring. It's a wonderful silent retreat that the bear is on in hibernation, and there's preparation for that. And kind of funny to think, if we did that as humans, like had a good few months where we just slept. I wonder what kind of dreams one would have, or whether you'd remember them. Now let's see what the journey map has to offer. This week I am reading out the meanings of each card because, as I've said in other readings, I often just fudge over at what, comes to mind as a general for each card I speak of. But so for you, Aries, see this. Yes, we have the Energy Accountant. Keywords: investment overview. That's energy investments. Containment, detach. So the Energy Accountant, quite impersonally, this card appears when one is required to review input and output in terms of your energy. Intrinsically, she asks you to be honest about your feelings regarding whom and what you invest in. This is not about like or dislike. This card asks you to look at your investments and to ascertain whether, like a bank account, you're in the red or the black. You will intuitively know from each relationship you are involved in what the balance is. If you approach this impersonally, this can be enlightening and freeing. See, we have that Fool in the current position. It will also allow you to not waste energy in frustration that someone, situation, etc., does not offer what you felt to be an equal exchange, dear Aries. An equal energetic exchange. So thank you for joining me. I hope you got something out of this reading today. And we'll see you next time, Aries. Take care.